Hello, hello. I hope we are live. I hope. Let me know. Y'all. What a day. What a day. Oh, man. But yeah, I think we got it solved, I hope. And you're back on. Okay, perfect. So first off, apologies if the Wi-Fi goes out again. It's been doing this to me all day. I've had to unplug and replug and unplug and replug at least like 4 or 5 times today. But this live stream is likely going to be kind of short because we talked about GH on Thursday. And it was really all about the fallout from Natalia's recording getting leaked. And there wasn't too much on. So beyond that story. So we'll mostly touch on the Blaze stuff again, but we'll also touch on the couple of other things that happened. Not that there was much. So yeah. And yeah, anyway, I hope you guys had a good weekend. Mine was crazy. I went 3 hours out of my town to Calgary to see Sporty Spice be a DJ from the Spice Girls. And it was really cool. I got to meet some online peeps that I've never met before in the Spice Girls fan group called Spice Circle. So shout out to them. All right. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And then I saw my friend's show at a dive bar here last night. And I got back that same day. Like, I got back yesterday and I was like in pain, tired as hell, running on no sleep, and I went to a metal show and survived. Like I do. Alright, but yeah, let's get into it. Like I said, it's likely going to be a shorter stream since it was mostly about the scandalous recording. But we'll go into a bit more detail because I was kind of just giving opinions rather than like a recap. But essentially, Natalia's recording was published in The Invader, and the Ladies of Deception played the recording out loud in front of Natalia and Blaze, no less. And boy, did things get ugly between the mother and daughter. Blaze exchanged some words that weren't too kind to Natalia, rightfully so. But what's wild is that Natalia doesn't even show remorse for her views, just that her daughter had to hear them out loud, and that her words may have just ruined her daughter's career as well. Hey, Mikob. I didn't even say hi to y'all. Hi, I know Nathan's here, Mikob, Kaiwan, Angel, even the chat on my OBS here. It's missing some of them, I think. So if I missed y'all, I'm sorry. Just because the connection was in and out when you guys were chatting earlier. But yeah, so after that kind of gets settled, Natalia then goes to pay Sunny a visit to apologize for her words and to let him know who gave the press the recording. Ava, obviously, and naturally, pretty much is all forgiven. Hey, Edmund! Sorry. Do we have a 4th of July episode, or is that still coming? It looks like it's coming Monday or Tuesday, I think. Why they did it behind, I don't know. Like, I feel like GH hasn't been behind, but maybe they are doing one, it looks like. Sorry, what are you saying, Kaiwan? Alright, back to it. So yeah, pretty much just all of it is forgiven for Natalia on Sunny's end, because it was Evil Ava who leaked those words, so naturally it's Ava's just the one sole bad guy in the situation, which is annoying. Edmund, you said Natalia was more concerned with Sunny than her own daughter. Yeah, it's true. Oh, you suspect that she's in on the Pikeman stuff? That would be an interesting twist. I don't know if the writers are that clever, but that would be an interesting twist for sure. Anyway, though, On top of all that going down, Alexis had confronted Ava on the recording because she managed to get the truth out of that D. White fella from the Invader, who is now running it since Alexis quit. And she let him know that he opened himself up to one hell of a lawsuit, as well as with the Invader as well. Even Nina actually reamed him out for that too, and Maxie and Nina are going to take full advantage of making him their lapdog essentially, which I don't exactly know what's going to come into play on that front. It'll be interesting. But, you know, Maxie and Nina are scheming. They're scheming. The tape leaks looks like it should have happened in June, not July. Yeah, like, it's kind of weird that, like... well, I guess, you know what it is, probably, Angel, is that, you know, the stories probably got rerouted because of the writer's swap again. But I feel like this was probably supposed to be the story at the beginning of Pride Month, because it makes sense, because, you know, all the topics on hand with it. But everything's probably just bumped back a little bit, so maybe that's why 4th of July is a couple days off as well. Didn't understand Nina's anger with Dwight. Yeah, it seemed like she was more so mad that she looks like she's trying to get revenge on her ex-husband, which is interesting because I don't think Sonny... I feel like Nina didn't even cross Sonny's mind. He probably doesn't even remember that she's running the Invader. Kyriecy said, "Hey everyone, I am beyond sick of Sonny Corinthos. I hope he loses custody. He's a manho. Natalia gets a pass because he's horny." You ain't wrong. It's probably a part of it, honestly. But yeah, so anyway, Alexis, she plans on following through with being on retainer for, you know, whoever wants to sue the Invader for that kind of thing. Edmund, you said we didn't get a peep from Felix or Brad during Pride Month. I'm of the opinion that they are probably no longer on the show. You know, like, we haven't seen Brad in over a year. Felix, probably just as long. But anyway, I did really enjoy Alexis's smug sarcasm. It's probably my favorite part of her character, honestly. Like, whenever she knows she's right, she kind of, like, she can't help but, like, gloat and do it with, like, a sense of humor. And, like, Nancy in comedy mode is just so fun to watch. So her kind of, obviously, her going to Dwight in the first place and then going to Ava, it was just really entertaining. And then she goes to Sonny's restaurant as well, just to let him know who did the recording, because she didn't know that Natalia had told him. And Natalia was still there, by the way. And she barely acknowledged Natalia. Natalia, I think, said something to the effect of, like, there are no words. And she's like, "You're right, there's not." And she just kind of, like, was like, "We need to talk alone. Bye." Like, she just kind of, like, shut her down. It's great to see Alexis back in lawyer mode. Yeah, she's not fully there yet. But we know that, like, once she gets her 48 hours of education or whatever it is, then she'll, you know, get on board with that. But yeah, so thankfully, even though Alexis didn't get her words with Natalia, Kristina certainly did. Because she went over to Natalia's hotel suite and just reamed her out and called her out for all of her homophobic rhetoric. I think what it'll ultimately come down to, if there's any salvaging with the character of Natalia, is her willingness to try and open her mind, which remains to be seen if she will try or if she won't. But the wildest thing about these scenes is that Natalia is still pretty set in her ways by the end of their conversation, even doubling down on some of the words that she said, which from a story point of view, I actually respect, because it would be unrealistic for her to just switch gears so quickly. Hateful views are not an easy thing to unlearn when you've spent your whole life surrounded by people with those kind of views. But what gets me about this scene has nothing to do with that. It's the fact that she had the audacity to tell Kristina, after literally insulting her and pretty much doubling down on her rhetoric and her views of gay people, she says, give her daughter her love. And oh man, in that moment when Kristina looked back at her, I had never wanted to see a character on General Hospital say, go fuck yourself. More so in that moment. I wish this wasn't a daytime show, but, you know, she basically, instead, as an alternative, she said, I'll make sure Blaze won't need your kind of love ever again. And I think in that moment, Natalia realized, oh no, I'm not going to have any kind of relationship with my daughter anymore. But I would bet my last dollar that she doesn't see that as like motivation to try and open her mind. I feel like she just sees it as Kristina making sure that Blaze will always stay angry at her. And I feel like she'll try to act some sort of revenge on Kristina if Blaze continues to neglect her, which is wild, but I think that's kind of, the reality of certain people. Some people are so set in their ways that they just can't see when their sort of ignorance is the root of the problem, and they're just kind of placing the blame on whoever is nearest in the room, Kristina is flighty. Yeah, but she assumes that about everyone. Kristina, I feel like Kristina's far less flighty than most people. Than most people. Than she was in the past. Sorry, I'm out of my mind today. But Natalia doesn't open her mind to just her legs. Oh my goodness. Natalia's defense is why she's homophobic is the same thing some racists say. Yeah, you're right. And but to that end, it is the reality that her upbringing kind of taught her this was normal. This is a normal thought process, and I think the problem lies in the fact that she doesn't seem like she feels like she needs to change her views in order to keep her relationship with her daughter, which isn't the case. It's sad. Also, does Natalia believe people that are infertile just not? Should not do surrogacy? It's true. That's the thing. She's not really thinking about it. I think there's a certain kind of people that you can show them factual statistics with receipts and debunk all the things that they assume about anything. But let's keep it to the topic of the LGBTQ community. So you can show them all the factual statistics and debunk all of the things that they assume by introducing people that prove what they thought wasn't actually true. And they would more likely convince themselves that it's all fake news or actors telling a fake story to manipulate them and the whole nine yards. And it happens in a lot of different ways. And it's people like that are often the reason young members of the LGBTQ community do end up in youth shelters and without a family, because they were brave enough to be honest about who they are with their family and then were punished for it from their family as a result. Kristina's flighty, but not with Blaze. Facts. You know that they rewrote her to be Sling? Wait, what do you mean, Kaiwan? But yeah, here's my sort of thought process with people who are homophobic and just I don't know, quote unquote old fashioned. I always feel religion and politics are usually the cause of such closed-mindedness. And that's not to say that I think that every religious person and every person on the political side of the aisle that leans towards the sentiment that LGBTQ people don't deserve the same human rights as everyone else all align with that kind of hate towards the community. I'm just saying that everyone who does spew such hatred towards the community tends to be religious and or right-leaning. But that said, I have nothing but respect for people that don't use their religion or political stances as a weapon against people that aren't like themselves, especially on something as mundane as who someone sleeps with or loves or wants to marry. Natalia said she believed being gay was a mental disorder. It's insane. Some people just are. Some animals, it's crazy. Angel, you said my dad was working in a racist town. He was the project manager, and they were confused. They had to answer to a black man. They said they would like to change, but they never had reason not to. Yeah, it's the reality. Like, you are. I mean, I think every human, to an extent, is essentially a circumstance of where they're from, who they surround themselves by, all the things. And if you're in a situation your whole life and suddenly something changes in your world, it's like a tough thing to, I don't know, to just kind of, I guess, unlearn. Or they have internal homophobia because they are gay themselves. That happens too. Like, honestly, I can recall a time long before I was out, long before I was out, where there was a kid who was not a kid. Well, we were in junior high, middle school is I think what you guys call it in the States. And there was a guy who, I don't know if he was necessarily out, but he was definitely like very flamboyant and bullied because of it. And I myself would partake in the bullying because I don't know. I think I knew to an extent that I was still quite young, so I hadn't fully figured it out yet. But I don't know. I feel like I seen something in him that I had seen in myself, and I, you know, I had a religious grandmother and a religious mom who, you know, told me that being gay is a sin and all this other stuff. So, you know, that is also a very true thing. Oh, I'm sorry about that, Kaiwan. But yeah, suffice to say that, you know, while people that tend to be homophobic tend to use religion and politics as a weapon against them, like it's not everyone. And I think the sooner that everyone can kind of just accept that there are like shitty people no matter where you look, I think kind of opening up your mind becomes an easier thing to do. Because if you're always kind of in the stance of like, oh, my political party can never do wrong, then you're already a little bit brainwashed, you know? It's like, no, there's people that can do wrong no matter where you are. But, you know, the thing that brings change is being open-minded enough to have the conversations and be open to someone proving you wrong, and to not just kind of cover your ears and cover your eyes and put your head in the sand and say, you know, nope, my political party is right, or, you know, my religion is the one true religion and all this other stuff. Because, you know, there's like 1,000 different religions and they're all different from each other, and it's very wishy-washy overall. I'm not a religious person, so it's like, you know, I've always seen that religion brings problem. I've seen it in my own family, and I've seen it elsewhere, and it's always hurtful because there are people that are religious that don't cater to that sort of rhetoric against gay people. And it's like, what does it take to change their minds? And sometimes you just can't, and you can try, but the other people have to be willing to listen. And when they're not, it's an impossible thing to break out of. Kaiwan, you said, I just think a lot of religious people, they don't have really any other ways of thinking that they don't understand. The GOP does something wrong, and the GOP sometimes, yeah, like that's the thing. Like, there was a user on here that was like kind of attacking me because I called out some of the bad things that people in the political right part were doing, but I'm like, hey, there's people on the left that do shitty things too, like. But I think, at the end of the day, like, there's more. There is. How do I word this correctly? The cognitive dissonance is real. You right, but no, like, I think it's the people that are willing to have the conversations and have it be civil, and open their mind to being convinced that their older way of thinking is not good. Like, I mean, the thing is with the human race anyway, we're always constantly growing and changing. So it's like you can either live in your ignorance from something that is old and outdated and continue to roll with that for God knows what reasons, or you can kind of like just educate yourself and like go from there, like let yourself see all the facts and then just make your own opinion. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. It seems simple to me, but there are people that are just so brainwashed and set in their ways that it's like impossible to deal with. And on the topic of, the LGBTQ community, that's a sad reality for a lot of young ones who grew up in religious households or grew up in, right-leaning politics. Like because they spend most of their childhood feeling ashamed, but at the same time, they have friends and, celebrities that they love and all these people that are being true to themselves and they want that for themselves. And then they go for it and then they get really, they get the shit end of the stick, which is unfortunate. But yeah, anyway, back to the story, guys. Let's get back into the GH world. I mean, it was still GH world, but you know what I mean. We got a little off topic. So the dumbest part of the plot, which I think, and you guys, if you were here Thursday, you know what I think, is that Kristina is being demanded to resign from her role in the youth shelter because she's dating someone that whatever crowd is demanding her to resign, which are likely like LGBTQ people, believe that she's dating someone that is ashamed to be gay, and that's a reason enough for her to not be whatever role she is in that shelter. But more so, what's heartbreaking is that apparently Blaze's record label dropped her, which I also think is a dumb plot because, hey Allison, hey, because I'm thinking about the real world right now, right? Like, to me, what I've seen, especially over the last few years, is that being an openly gay musician seems to be quite the superpower these days. Like, at the top of my head, I'm thinking of Lil Nas X and Orville Peck. Like, these are two openly gay men in genres that honestly have always been perceived to have largely homophobic fan bases, and yet their careers seem to skyrocket because they were gay and they were truthful about it and just kind of living their truth. And even when it comes to straight artists, when there's a straight artist that is like openly an ally to the LGBTQ community, their careers tend to take a huge jump in success as well, like Beyonce and Taylor Swift. So I feel like in reality, Blaze's record label would be like wanting to go all in on her being outed and coming out and living her truth just to like reap the benefits of it. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know. What are y'all saying? Talk about liberal mindset in New York. Kristina was a celebrity in the closet. Uh, I don't know. I mean, I'm thinking of like the country as a whole. You know what I mean? Especially since you are in punk. Punk is very open. Punk is very open. I too. Yeah, I am openly gay. Everyone that knows me knows that I'm gay. On my social media for my music, I'm honest about it. Hell, I was, saying I was living my gay fantasy yesterday or Friday, seeing one of the Spice Girls be a DJ. So, and I'm not getting any hate for it. But like to that end, Lil Nas X, hip hop, Orville Peck, country. Like these two, I think collectively, I think they're perceived to be like pretty homophobic bases. So it's like, but their success has been insane. So I don't know. I feel like unless this story results in Blaze having like a huge sort of movement of positivity in her career, then it's not going to be true to real life, and that would be unfortunate. So I don't know. I feel like the haters that are homophobic, they tend to be very loud about it, and so if you're not really paying close attention, they kind of tend to appear to be the majority. But realistically, it's just like these people were never your fans to begin with, and the fan bases, the true fans of these artists, are going to support you in tenfolds. They're going to show up to your shows. They're going to buy all your merch. They're going to buy all your music. They're going to stream it, watch it, go to just do everything for the artist, and then they have this huge success. Like I'm saying, like even Beyonce, who's straight, she really went all in for not the album she just put out, but the previous one with the Break My Soul stuff. I'm not, just so we're clear, I'm not a Beyonce fan. I'm not a big fan of her. I think she's got an insanely talented voice. I've never been a fan of like, I don't know, her ego bothers me a little bit, okay? But that said, like, look what that did for her. That album, like, gave her most successful tour she's ever done, one of their most successful albums, and it was all just like, that album was just 100% gay culture the entire way through it. So I don't know, she's a smart businesswoman. Okay, when you were saying, yeah, but what happened is she was in the closet, so they can't. No, but I'm saying that. But now that she's outed, she needs to kind of like own it, talk about it, maybe even like throw her mom under the bus, because I would. You know what I mean? Like, I just, I feel like from a business point of view, I would be begging the artist, be like, please discuss it, be open about it, talk about it, go on and have your interviews with whoever, and just speak about it, live your truth, explain why you were in the closet, because we know that, I think that if Blaze had anything to say about it, she would have been out, but she was just following her mom's lead. And so I don't know, I think she just needs to discuss that so that everyone knows what the story is and can go from there. And I think that people will sympathize with what Blaze went through. She was manipulated by her mom into thinking that the best move for her career was to stay in the closet. And, it couldn't be more far from the truth. I think it would have been cool if Blaze had sort of brought up gay artists that are very successful right now, like Lil Nas X and like Orville Peck and like Troye Sivan, Chappelle Roan. Like there's a bunch that are just like, they're thriving because they're being so open about it, and they're bringing sort of, I guess, the overall culture of the LGBTQ community within their artwork as well, and within their art, through the music, through their music videos, through their concerts. So yeah, I don't know. That's what I'm hoping the story will end up kind of going in the direction of. Although on another note, I am happy to see that Maxi and Brooklyn are throwing their full support to her. I like that Maxi came up with the idea to kind of put out like a 2-page spread that just said, I forget what the words were, but something to the effect of like love can never be canceled or something like that. So yeah, I like that they're going all in. Angel, you said I consider Lil Nas X as pop more than hip hop. He gets hate especially from hetero black men. He's a troll and he makes money. Well, that's the thing. I kind of like that he trolls them because I feel like it puts his name into people's mouths and it makes him more popular and he gets money out of that. He's smart. He's smart to take advantage. It's like, I don't know. It is hip hop to an extent. Like it's just like a sort of, I don't know. I guess it is subgenre. People can kind of turn genres into what they want these days. So. Love is better than hatred. Yeah, but I know I can see why a magazine would say love can never be canceled because they're trying to cancel Blaze, right? That's just the culture that we live in terms of celebrities. When they do something that certain people deem to be, I don't know, taboo or whatever. Angel, you said the Renaissance Ball is amazing. I did watch it, by the way. Like, because I wanted to see for myself what the whole craze was about. And, I don't know. I think it was so funny. I went, when she was actually doing the tour, I was just kind of annoyed because I was like, I can see exactly what she and her dancers are doing on stage in like a back alley in Montreal. And my stance was like the unfathomable price of those damn tickets were insane. So that was really my like sour sort of thing about it. I don't know. People buying, tickets to see something that's just essentially copying or taking parts of an already well established sort of thing. I don't know, and just capitalizing on that to make her money. I mean, I guess pay your bills, but I don't know. It just left a poor taste in my mouth. They hate Beyonce. I'm a rock. I'm a punk. Yeah, And I loved me some Destiny's Child, though, okay? I was a DC fan. And even for Beyonce, I was a fan of her first, couple of albums. I think, the turn for me, and I feel like this is probably, how do I word this? Something that I feel like a lot of fans, where the moment where Beyonce really became, this big thing was her Lemonade album. And that was what turned me off of Beyonce. Because I'm like, she's basically making an album about how her husband cheated on her. And, taking advantage of that press. And then going on a tour with him. I don't know. That part, that's where I started to be like, I couldn't even enjoy the album. I know a lot of people did. It just turned me off. It turned me off. You don't like divas? I love divas. Hey, listen, Lady Gaga, I feel like she's kind of considered a diva. I don't know. I guess it depends on how you define a diva. Because you can be a diva, but you can be kind. They were cheap in Kansas City. I got 2 tickets for $220. But where were you in the seats? Were you were you in the nosebleeds, in the binocular needing section, or were you in a decent spot considering? Your brother played Lemonade in your house? Man. No, I liked Beyonce until I liked Beyonce. My last Beyonce album that I liked of hers was her self-titled one, which had the Drunken Love, and I think that was the project where she had in every single music video for every single song, and it all dropped all at once. That was impressive, and the songs were great, and I really enjoyed it. And then after that, nothing. I don't know. It is what it is. All right, but back to GH, you guys. We're gonna move on a little bit from the topic of Blaze slightly. One other story that this scandal is kind of bleeding into is the potential custody battle between Sunny and Ava. Sunny wants to use the scandal as a way to deem Ava unfit to be a mom, but honestly, Ava can probably use just as many examples to deem him unfit. And hell, she only has to wait a few minutes to find one new one because of how unhinged he's been with his meds being tampered with. So, I don't know. Dude is on edge, and he's even practically bragging to his son that, Dante, I should say, the cop, that he will take care of Ava by any means necessary if he has to. So, I don't know. He's screwing himself. And it's not his fault, obviously. He's on some wacky meds, but I just hope that part gets solved soon. But Ava's totally going to take advantage of that for sure. I was in mid-range. I saw the whole stage. Sonny gotta get his meds right, the paranoia. Yeah, he really does. But I will say I feel like they're toning down how he's acting. In terms of the meds, it's not as like batshit as it seemed to be when we were like fully in the Liz and Patrick bubble there. That said, though, one thing that I find wild is that at some point, Jocelyn had said, if a custody battle happens, that she believes Avery would be better off with Sunny than Ava. Girl, your on again, off again boyfriend literally got beaten almost to death by him the other day. Like, this is recent stuff. Anything that Ava has done has been like so far in the past beyond the fact that she leaked that tape. And really that doesn't say anything much about her as a mom. I think, well, I mean, they're going to argue, how could this woman do this to someone's kid and blah, blah, blah. I think that I can know how they're going to write that in should they bring that up. But, and you said, how does it feel to stand in a pit for a concert? I need a seat because I can't stand for that long. I thoroughly enjoy it because honestly, even when I'm at a seated concert, or like an event with seats, essentially, I am never sitting. I am standing up and dancing to the music for the entire 2.5 hours or however long the concert is. I am a ride or die that way. When me and my mom went to see Janet Jackson back in like 2015, we were up the entire time. My coworker was in like a different spot, and we were like in a row where like there wasn't many people standing up and dancing. We were with like a bunch of fuddy-duddies in our row, and we were up dancing the entire time because it's Janet Jackson, and she had like 4 decades of hits at that point. So of course we were standing up and dancing the whole time. But I love it. I love getting up and dancing around, and yeah, sure, my feet can get sore, but I can just relax when I'm home. But also like the concerts that I have to go to, you have to understand that like there's usually like 3 or 4 bands that are on, and their sets are like 30 to 45 minutes long. And, people disperse and they go and have a seat and have a drink or go out and have a smoke or whatever between the concerts. They can relax for like 15 minutes at a time and then go back in. Are you tall? Can you see? I'm 5'8". average height. But ultimately, it comes down to who you're seeing as well. You know, a lot of my bands are like kind of underground that I go see, so there's room. There's room to maneuver yourself if you're shorter. And also, like, in the punk community, like, there's people that are actually really respectful of shorter people. And they'll, like, let them go to the front. I know that's not always the case. Like, if I were to go to, like, a pit concert of, like, a pretty mainstream band, then that's going to be a struggle. Then the goal there at that point is to try and get as close as you can. And usually, if there's, like, an opening band, like, that's when you go, because everyone else doesn't want to be there yet, because they're only there to see the one band. I will ride or die whatever other opening bands there are to fight my way to the front, to be at the front in time to see my favorite artist. Y'all are 5'4", so I'm slightly taller than you guys. But you know, as a kind punk, I would let you guys in front of me. So, you know, that's what it comes down to. There is like, I feel like there is like an unspoken sort of conduct at like a punk rock show. And like part of it is like letting the short people go to the front, or you know, if someone falls down in the pit, you pick them up. It doesn't matter if you know them or not. You pick them up and make sure that they don't get stomped on. Like there are like rules that we all like collectively we don't speak of, but we all do it. It's just like pit etiquette. Angeli said I would like to see Glass Animals or Green Day one day, but they go to arenas with pits and grass. Yeah, but usually with an artist that's big as Green Day, like there's a pit section, and there's like seated sections too. But yeah, no, I would definitely like in those bigger situations, I would choose the pit over the seats. Actually, my one regret for a concert that I went to see Lady Gaga in like 2017. And there was a pit section, but there was also like VIP meet and greet, whatever. And, but the VIPs were seated. And the pit was just like general admission. And as cool as it was to get to meet Lady Gaga and like eat and hang out with her dancers and like meet her parents, all this stuff that I got to do, I still wish that I could have just hopped right into that pit and fought my way to the front and enjoyed it over there. Even though the seats were great, like, you know, I would just have preferred to have been in the crowd and kind of taken that whole experience of just like dancing and jumping to music that you all collectively love, and just, you know, being there, where I felt like we were kind of watching enviously. First 2 times going to a concert were always in the high seats in Madison Square Garden, do you mean? I saw My Chemical Romance 2 separate times. Man, I don't know. I used to be the kind of person that would go into any seat that I could afford in the nosebleeds if I had to. But you know, when I got a taste of the closer seats, I'm like, I have to go all in or not go at all. Oh wow, how was she? I only saw her in concert in 2011. Is she nice? Lady Gaga, you know, I'm a huge fan of her, and that was my first time seeing her. My only time seeing her, really. Except for, I think she happened to be walking in the mall that I currently work in. When she wasn't famous, she just had Just Dance out, and she was performing at a nightclub that was inside the mall. And she kind of walked by. That was like when I barely knew who she was. But I don't count that. But no, when I met her in 2017, she was incredibly nice, incredibly down to earth. In fact, the first thing that she did, well, okay, so here's what happened. The VIP meet and greet thing was essentially supposed to be something where like you would meet her just before the show, and you would like take a picture, and that's it. Like that's it. That's all. No time to talk, all this other stuff. But she actually went out of her way to sort of rebel against all that Like okay, I'll tell you the story and then we'll get back to GH. But what happened was we were getting like the backstage tour, like me and the other VIP people, we were being shown like the tour set. We were now like in the front of the venue, but like learning about the stage and everything. They were showing us the different parts of the stage. And me and the two people that I kind of befriended there that were around my age, we hear like a security guy like kind of near us, and we hear him actually say the words, "Is she aware there's people here?" And we were the only ones that caught it, and we were like, we're like, what? And then we see her like casually just kind of like slowly walk out, and just kind of like, I think she's like Snapchatting because it was like that era, you know. And she then like, her parents came out, her mom and dad, and she literally just like takes both of their hands, and she like just like kind of like walks up to us and just like starts hanging out with us and just like, you know, asking us if we're all having a good time. I had like a really nice conversation with her mom about the Born This Way Foundation, and it was just really cool. It was really cool. The meet and greet, Angel, it cost like, I want to say like $1,500. And the only reason why that I could afford it is because I was planning on going on a trip and I canceled it. So I had that much money, and then she had just done the Super Bowl, and I was like, they're going to announce a tour probably. And then sure enough, she did. And I was like, well, you know, this is probably I'm never going to be able to pull this off again, but I might as well go all in and get the VIP and see what it's like to live on that sort of edge. But yeah, but no, it was worth it. I mean, I think we got more than probably some other people did. I know, like, I think the Edmonton stop was the second stop in, and the people that did the VIP in Vancouver were disappointed that they only really got to see her for like 30 seconds and not really get to say anything to her. But maybe because it was like she was nervous at her first show, maybe. But she was chill as hell. Like when we seen her, or when I seen her, and I don't know. I was just really relieved that she seems to be exactly who she claims to be, or is perceived to be. Like, she's just kind of like this rebellious but really nice girl. Like, she'll put her fans first. She'll like show you that, like, hey, I'm just like a normal chick that has a really cool job. Like, the fact that she like brought her parents out to meet us is crazy. Like, you know, even like introducing, this is my mom, this is my dad. Like, she just seemed really happy to like hang out with us for like that 5 minutes of like when we were kind of just getting ready to go to the next thing. And she wasn't supposed to do that because security was like freaking out over it. Oh man, it was great. Good Lord, my only chance was to see her coming out of the hotel in Omaha. Yeah, no, I'm really grateful for that experience, and it just made me more endeared to her. And I was already a big fan back then anyway, but like, you know, it just like sold me on the fact, like, wow, she's truly like exactly who she seems like, even on like the TV. Like, yeah, she does all this like crazy fashion stuff, but like, it's just a part of her art. She's still like the person that she like shows herself to be, which is cool. But anyway, let's wrap things up, because, you know, we've been streaming for probably about 45 minutes now. So, where were we anyway? Oh, so beyond all the Blaze stuff and the custody stuff, I think the most notable thing that happened on the show outside of those stories was that they've officially found their new teen quad, with Gio being added to that sad and broken trio of Dex, Jocelyn, and Trina, where Trina was basically just the third wheel in like the Joss Dex bubble. Dex and Joss made out, and Trina and Gio walked in on it, so I think that may put the kibosh on like potential Joss and Gio. And they actually gave Trina and Gio a substantial scene alone this week, hanging out at the new apartment and talking about the losses that each of them have faced. It's nice that they found common ground to build on. Obviously, their losses are substantially different. One lost a parent, one lost a boyfriend. But I think that Trina finds solace in the fact that this new guy gets what she's experiencing right now. And I feel like she feels safe to be honest and open with him. And hopefully it stays that way. I'm not sold on Gio as a character yet because he needs to be fleshed out. We don't know much about him beyond he was in the Cirillo clan and they made sure he was well taken care of, but he has no parents. He lost both of them. And he really loves playing the violin. But we don't know what makes him tick. And I want to learn more about Gio. I want to know. I'm sure there has to be some darkness within him that not having parents has got to be crazy. What are y'all saying in the chat? Yeah, that's crazy. I can barely afford to go out to dinner a couple times a week anymore. Yeah, I hear that. Times have definitely changed. 100 Years War Band. You met Roger Howarth. No Jason all week. That's true. We didn't see Jason at all this week. We got a break. So I guess Trina has butterflies for Gio. I don't know yet. I feel like she's being careful with her heart. I think she thinks he's cute. Who can blame her? But I think that there are some ways that he reminds her of Spencer. So I think that she's gonna be cautious. But like I said, we need to know more about Gio. As a Sabrina fan, he's got a lot to live up to. And I hope for something special, of course, because it sucks that we can't really get. I don't think we're gonna get Nicholas back in the role. They could always try to find a new Spencer, but who knows? Angel, you said I don't see Joss going from Dex to Gio. Dex is like a man, and Gio is boy-like. Yeah, but Gio kind of reminds me of Cameron. A little bit. He's got that sort of same boyish charm that's really sweet and the kind of guy you want to take home to mom. She'd been acting a little shy around him, that violin caressing. Yeah, I mean she's definitely flustered by him, but I think it's because he reminds her a little bit of Spencer. So I don't know. He kind of looks a little bit like him. And he's into art, but a different kind of art, obviously. And so, I don't know. There's just similarities, and I think that's really what has her being at least a little bit flustered. But yeah, and then beyond that, we saw Drew and Jordan hanging out at the pool, talking about his Congress run. And I guess he's officially legally named Drew Quartermain now. Andrew Quartermain, whatever. But these scenes, we've kind of now established that Jordan appreciates his looks. Because we've always seen that there's chemistry there, and it's been clear to the audience from an audience that knows this show so well point of view that they're testing their chemistry. But now they're actually showing that she does find him attractive. And she was saying that she was enjoying the view to Nina, of all people. And she also seems to be over Curtis, too, because the next thing she said I just wish that this view had far less ex-husbands in it. So I'm glad that she's put the kibosh on Curtis, and she's finding Drew attractive, and clearly we're gonna go into a potential love triangle between Drew and Nina and Jordan, And I'll put the question to you guys, but are y'all team Drew and Nina or team Drew and Jordan? Because I'm team Drew and Jordan. This poor woman needs someone. They've had this actress on for what, a year and a half ish now, maybe 2, and she has not had anybody except for Portia's brother, and he just disappeared off the face of the earth. So this woman needs a man. She needs to have fun and have a role beyond mayor deputy. Angel, you said I played clarinet in school and I never caressed my clarinet like she did his violin. Angel, you said, so like, does Scout need to change her last name to Quartermain? I don't think so. No. Wait, what is, like, do we know her last name? Is it Emily Scout Quartermain or Emily Scout Kane? Because that don't sound like something that they've said on the show. Or is she Emily McCall? The new Jordan is what? Maybe Scout should just be McCall. Why not? Jordan just needs a storyline and a man. I don't care which man, as long as he is only caring for her. Yeah, I think that's the scary part. Like, because it's clearly going into triangle territory, like, Jordan, there's potential for Jordan to be disrespected with the Nina stuff. Emily Scout Kane? Alright. But yeah, or was it Emily Scout Morgan? Because technically speaking, he thought he was Jason back then. Doesn't make sense. I don't know. I'm team get Jordan a man and a story. Because let's face it, like the woman that plays her is like drop dead gorgeous. Like, she should have all the men like fawning over her. And she's just the deputy of the mayor. A mayor that's trying to get Heather Weber back onto the streets. They changed it from Morgan to Kane when they found out Drew wasn't Jason, but Drew Kane. I mean, it makes sense. I just don't remember them like talking about it. But good to know. Nina needs to chill, Kaiwan. That's what Nina needs. Nina needs to chill and just be on her own and like not be toxic and learn some life lessons. Angel, you said, I honestly wish they call her Emily. I hate the name Scout for her. And wasn't it because one of her brothers was calling her Scout or wanted to name her Scout, so they just made that her middle name, and then that's just like the name they go by now? Hey, Albert. It was in passing. Okay. Albert, here's a question. If they're going to do a triangle for Nina, Drew, and Jordan, what team are you on? Because we're ending this stream soon, so I'm going to pass the question to you. I am team Jordan. That's lame. Heather will get out and kill someone, and it will be Laura's fault. I hope not. I hope not. I'd almost rather what Laura believes to be true, that she's actually just changed. Because, man, at this point, the writers are really going out of their way to make Laura look incompetent. And it's not fair. Her son wanted a dog, so that's why Scout's the name. Lord. Oh, your team Jordan as well? Alright, good to know. Yeah, Jordan needs some fun. But she also needs to not be disrespected by Drew, so if he picks her, he better just stay clear of Nina. Nathan, your team Jordan as well. Kaiwan, your Jordan. Well, good. We're a Jordan positive crew here. Oh, no telling what Molly is going to name the baby next month. Oh my god, I didn't even think about that. Do we know the sex of the baby? Did I forget? No, they didn't want to find out, right? They don't want to know. I can't even. Molly's gonna do some brainiac thing and call her something weird, like Apple. Wouldn't it be wild if she called her Kristina though? Like if the baby's a girl, or like Christian if it's a boy. We're just gonna live in the fact that hopefully it won't be a disaster when the baby is born, but it will be. It will. All right, y'all. But I think I've been on an hour now. Thanks for your patience on the Wi-Fi technical difficulties. I'd rather quit while I'm ahead before it turns off again. They didn't want to know, but Kristina did. But Kristina doesn't know, right? Thanks, Albert. You have a good night too. Yeah, have a good night, everyone. I will be back on Wednesday. Madeline Albright. Oh God. But yeah, thanks so much for tuning in. We'll come on Wednesday. I don't know if we're just gonna react to old clips or just check in with each other. We'll see. But for now, thanks so much for watching this live stream. If you liked it, give it a big old thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to. I'm like 5 subscribers shy of 1,000, which is a crazy milestone that I can't wait to hit. So if y'all are new and you haven't subscribed yet, do so. She's gonna try to keep the child. Shh. Let us live in ignorance for like a little bit. For this, okay? Not in real life shit, just this. I don't even want to think about the mess that will come out after the baby is born. Alright, but yeah, good night, y'all. I'll see you guys Wednesday. Enjoy the rest of your week, and then enjoy the rest of your evening. Mwah!